What are the realities of van life? 19. Female here. It's what you make it, dude. I think the most important thing is the goal and reason for living in a van. But anyway, bathrooms are easy to find, but during the night I usually have to pee into a McDonald's cup and then pour it into the pee jug, lol. There's a special kind of loneliness that comes with it, is the best answer I got when I first started asking people this question. I use a chemical toilet for night times and when I'm boondocking in the middle of nowhere. All the other time I use a combination of truck stops and city park bathrooms. It's boring. It's not a bad thing though, cause you find new things to do. I'm in Montana Yellowstone for the summer, so I'm taking up fishing and hunting to pass the time. Also gotta search for Fenn's gold. I'm rarely in a place where I see other people, so I don't worry about it at all. I have a hunting rifle packed away, but that's only for hunting and it's a much better club anyway. I didn't have any experience in carpentry, but if I was gonna use that as an excuse for not building out the van, then I wouldn't make it on the road anyway. Plus, you really just need a cot and some totes if you are really positive you shouldn't use power tools. Emergency toilet advice. I should take a picture of it and upload it for the community, but essentially it's a 5-gallon bucket that I fitted a toilet seat to. I use a scented garbage bag, put some cat litter down, do my business, clean up and then top it off with some more cat litter. I tie the bag off, then put it in a freezer Ziploc, and then tie that off in a grocery plastic bag. Then just toss it as one does with dog waste. Seriously, I have no idea how someone could full time without some time of emergency toilet. It is a must-imo. Cooking in such a small enclosed space is a pain. Moisture and odors linger. Inside cooking is just heating things up for me. Safety. Stay low-key. Don't reveal to anyone that you are alone in your travels. Consider a dog. Talk like there is someone waiting for you in the van. Pepper spray. An alarm with a panic button. I'm a dude, but one thing I do more is look at art. Galleries are everywhere and I take my time. Don't limit yourself to just a van. A truck with a slide-in camper is a great combo. Building it yourself is cool, but I'd rather buy a used setup that works. Safety is an issue no matter where you are, but the first night of sleeping somewhere you're not supposed to, stealth camping, might keep you up all night and listening to every single noise you hear. Every time you hear a car door, or a vehicle running, you get up to see if you're getting towed. Kinda always on edge and nervous. As you get seasoned and realize no one knows you're in the van, expect other people who also live in a van. That feeling goes away and you sleep great. Stealth camping was definitely different, but so worth it. The best thing about van living is having no possessions to tie you down. I feel so encumbered every time I get to a place where I have a bunch of shit. I hate it. Getting in a van, knowing I can't buy stuff because I have nowhere to put it, was very liberating. I only had the essentials and could spend my free time exploring or just relaxing. Didn't constantly have the thought in the back of my mind like, I need to clean my room or, I need to organize all those papers on my desk. Having those to-do lists is very taxing on your well-being. You can convert a van with no skills, just will be harder. Bathrooms are everywhere, but that's up to you to figure them out. An exhaust fan near the stove area extracts heat, humidity, and odors just like what people have in a not-moving house. Just like what problem have in a not-moving house. You need heat if it gets cold. Diesel-fueled heaters that use electric blowers and dump the combustion exhaust outside make the inside climate habitable. It depends on where you go. Without heat, your inside temperature will be the same as the outside temperature. It is most unpleasant to wake up and find that all your water is frozen. Carpentry and conversion are necessary if you want people to watch your internet postings and drool. If you want a low-cost place to live, eat, and sleep and you don't require marble floors and granite countertops, then you can have a livable place without much cost and effort. The most dangerous part about living in a vehicle is driving it. Burglars and thieves are looking for easy targets or high-value targets. If you minimize the appearance of opulence and keep the doors locked, your odds are better than average. While driving, be defensive. All resources are scarce. Operating your own electric utility requires some technical ability. Mobile electricity is expensive. Mobile water supplies are heavy. If you crave being around people all the time, a van is not your best setting. I prefer solitude. In urban areas, bathrooms are everywhere. In rural places, you need to take care of your own issues. Usually businesses provide facilities for the convenience of their customers. Don't expect to be welcomed if you are not a customer. You need to be okay with being self-sufficient. Calling emergency medical folks can be a problem if they don't know where you are. If your battery runs down and your exhaust fan doesn't work, it's up to you to diagnose the problem. Many places will sell you a new battery, but you might actually need a solar charge controller cable. Everything you do seems to take longer in a van. For me, the biggest thing about van dwelling is the fact that you are one breakdown away from being actually homeless. Make sure you have a solid amount of savings for when that breakdown happens. Also invest in a proper cooking setup with refrigeration and a sink. It is a pain in the ass to cook without those things. They will make van life infinitely better. Not having a place you can sit privately and just be. Not having private and easily accessible bathrooms. Not really being able to have friends or a date over to your place. Not having the option to not live minimalistic. If I skip my chores for just 1-2 days, it makes living conditions considerably worse. I'll stand by my belief that when you are having a bad day, living in a van is not gonna help at all. It's good to try and recognize those days, buy dinner instead of cooking, then slowly organize what needs to be organized instead of becoming overwhelmed. Having to sleep in humidity, dealing with sand and dust, condensation, finding suitable places to poop, drips from when you need to pee in bottles, gas expenses, and the worry about people breaking in whenever you need to leave at some place. Consider a travel trailer. They can be bought brand new for less than $10,000, have more room, etc., but you can't boondock nearly as much. In which we get a heavy dose of reality. If the only thing you see about van life is on Instagram or YouTube, you'd be forgiven for thinking that every dweller spends all his time on a sunny beach in a shiny new tricked-out Sprinter, with a blonde girlfriend who looks like a lingerie model and does yoga in a bikini by the campfire. It is, according to the internet, a glamorous and sexy life of unicorns and rainbows and chocolate fountains. Well, no, it's not. The harsh reality is that #vanlife is mostly dull and boring. Yes, I travel all over the country and visit a lot of really cool places, and I get to share them with everyone here. But I also have to do all the same day-to-day drudgery that everyone else has to do. I have to do laundry, I have to wash up in the morning, I have to cook dinner, I have to make a living. But I have to do all that in a space that is smaller than the average prison cell. Glamorous is not really the word that leaps to mind. Don't get me wrong, I love my lifestyle, would not trade it for anything, and have no desire at all to stop. Although I have the means to give it all up tomorrow if I wanted to and live pretty comfortably in whatever part of the country I choose, I don't want to. I love traveling and being in new places and seeing new things. It's a big country, and I want to see all of it, and van dwelling is the most flexible and most interesting way to do that. I'm having an enormously good time. It's like a never-ending vacation. But it is certainly not a lifestyle for everyone. Over the years, I have seen countless newbies in the various van dweller forums who fall in love with the Instagram images and get stars in their eyes and want to live in a van, or at least they think they want to live in a van. And then I see most of them give it all up, many before they ever even get out on the road, and virtually all of them within a year, often after their first winter. The fact that they become disillusioned means that they were illusioned to begin with. They have fallen for the Instagram glitter, and it simply doesn't exist in the real world. It doesn't even really exist in the Instagram world either. Most of those glamour beach shots you see online are staged studio props for people who make their living by selling product placements and ads on social media. To put it bluntly, they are commercials. The brutal reality is that the majority of people who live the van life are not doing so by choice. They have been forced into it by economic necessity. They may make pretty speeches about finding themselves or minimalism or freedom, but they are in essence homeless people. They live in a van because they can't afford not to. They don't travel, they don't wander, they don't explore. They live on the street and work every day at a job that does not pay them enough to live anywhere else. There's nothing sexy or glitzy about that, and it is a sad reflection on the country we live in. I am immensely fortunate because I am able to travel full-time and make a living while on the road, and I never forget for a moment how immensely fortunate I am for that. So, what is a typical day in the #vanlife really like for me? Well, there are actually two distinctly different types of days in my life. 3 or 4 days out of every week, I can be a typical tourist and go to visit a museum or a historical spot or a zoo or a nature preserve or whatever else I want to go see in whatever city I happen to be in. And the other 3 or 4 days a week, I do all the routine drudge work that I need to, everything from doing laundry to making my living. I usually wake up each day at around 8-9 a.m., but I don't have, or need, any alarm clock. So really I just get up whenever I want to. In the summer I try to get up a little earlier so I have time to do my housekeeping chores before it starts getting hot inside the van. In winter I am often happy to stay snug in my sleeping bag with my laptop until the day warms up. And if that turns out to be noon, that's fine with me. The first task is to move the van. Part of being inconspicuous is to not be parked in the same place all the time. So every morning when I wake up, I move the van to another spot. In most cases, this means a nearby parking lot where I can leave it all day. In other cases, where there isn't anything else nearby, it means moving to a different parking space on the other side of the Walmart lot. Once the van is settled in for the day, I can do my morning routines. Wash up in the sink and get dressed. Empty the pee bottle, toss the trash, and into the Walmart to poop if needed. Like I said, there's not much glamour here. If necessary, pick up anything I might want for breakfast. Since I don't have a fridge for storage, I obtain perishables like milk or eggs as I need them. Once back in the van, put away anything I may have used during the night: water bottle, laptop, headphones, bag of pretzels. I have never been a neat freak, but when you live in an area of less than 50 square feet, tidiness becomes an absolute essential. If things start getting piled up out of place, it rapidly becomes unlivable. So everything has a designated spot, and everything goes there. If it's gonna be a sightseeing day, then I will have already decided the day before where I want to go, and I can grab my backpack, which always has my laptop, my camera and spare battery, and a couple days worth of lunch in it, and head out to the bus stop. Since I generally camp out at Walmarts in the suburbs, it usually takes me an hour or so to get by bus to wherever it is I am going. Occasionally, there won't be any bus that goes to the place I want to visit, and then I have to drive there. I usually arrive at my chosen spot around 11-12 a.m. Sometimes I'll have lunch before I go in, sometimes I'll get lunch inside. If it's a work day, in general I do all my sightseeing on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, unless it's raining. Then I'll do whatever housekeeping I need, then hop the bus to the mall or the library for the day. That's where I'll work on my manuscripts, upload photos, download YouTube vids to watch later, and spend some time on all the blogs and online forums that I follow. Or, when I feel like it, I'll go to a park or the beach and just hang out all day and do nothing. At the end of the day, I'll either get dinner somewhere nearby, or head back to the van and make dinner there. As soon as I get back to the van, I move it again to a different spot. Then I'll find a nearby place where I can hang out, transfer whatever photos I've shot to my laptop, and if I have a Wi-Fi signal I'll poke around online. By then it's usually about 8-9 p.m, and I'll move the van yet again to a spot where I can spend the night, and then crawl into my sleeping bag, and get comfy. For the next few hours I will read an ebook, watch some downloaded YouTube vids or local TV, play some games, or maybe do some work on the laptop. By 11-12 I'm asleep. About once a month is my travel day, when I move to a different city. In general I do not like driving for more than 5 or so hours, so if I can't make it in one day I plan an overnight stop, usually at a Cracker Barrel where I can get dinner and then spend the night and continue on in the morning. On my first day in a new city, I spend the afternoon getting a bus pass and setting up a general delivery at the post office. Then I can begin sightseeing. And that is my glitzy and glamorous van life.